Humans! Humans, we get each other, okay? Like, I get you, most common and widespread species of primate, bipedal, great apes with questionable traffic habits and Spotify playlists. I get you. You get me too. Beak having, feather dusted, flappy wings shitting on your Subaru, getting up early, eating worms, the gummy kind. I gave up that raw shit a long time ago. I'm into artificial flavors, okay? I'm about radiant foods and taking neon shits. That's how I rock. I rock that way. Rock with me a moment, won't you? Give me a flaming hot over a regular. Electric colored cheese over charcuterie. And if you would ever bring back the Ecto Cooler, I would be most grateful. You had a perfection in a juice box until 2007, teasing us with resurrections in 2016 and 2018, but never the holiday level of rebirth and revival than the McRib. Just saying, if you agree on bringing restructured boneless pork patties shaped like ribs back with relative frequency, you could pop Slimer back on a box of high fructose corn syrup with orange and tangerine, a little citric acid, vitamin C, potassium citrate with a sprinkle of yellow 5 and blue 1. Now I hear you. Wasn't Ecto Cooler technically a rebranding of High C Citrus Cooler? Yeah, and that's kind of my point. I don't want something that sounds like government-issued juice drink when I could be slamming with Slimer. It's branding 101 here. Like I say, I get you, you get me, we get each other. But even with a mutual understanding, jealousy can grow. Envy can bloom. It's in the Bible, probably. And so here's where I'm at, since we're getting each other. Humans, I'm not proud to admit it. It's not very on brand for me, but I can deny it no longer. I'm fucking jealous of your beards. And now you're rubbing your stubble in my face. Dateline, 7:55 a.m., Friday, February 21st, 2025. Managing general partner of the New York Yankees, Hal Steinbrenner, announced that after several decades of being outlawed, the Yankees will be allowed to grow beards. Quote, in recent weeks, I've spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on our longstanding facial hair and grooming policy. I appreciate their earnest and varied feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension of ongoing internal dialogue that dates back several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow players and uniform personnel to have well-groomed beards moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar comfort of our former policies. The statement to unstifle and let fly these glorious Yankee stashes comes almost 50 years after the terror of the beard ban was implemented in 1976 by George the Boss Steinbrenner, which, like, okay, two things. One, it's not a boss nickname to just be called what you are. And two, the boss is Bruce Springsteen, and I guess you can claim you're the New York boss because Springsteen reps New Jersey. I think that's how zoning laws work, but whatever. Fuck George Steinbrenner anyway. The idea for an embargo on beautiful stash burns started in 1973 when George Steinbrenner brought the Yankees from CBS. Back then, it was totally acceptable to brandish bristles, and many MVPs did brag, like Thurman Munson, whose legendary horseshoe stash used to be a full front yard of glorious face grass before Steinbrenner took over the team and landscaped him. Not that Steinbrenner is, that's George, by the way, the senior, was making popular decisions back in the day. He hired and fired managers like he was trading Pokemon cards. 19 managers between 1973 and 1991. He made illegal campaign contributions to Richard Nixon. Who didn't? He even paid off the mob debts of legendary gambler Howard Spear to get some dirt on right fielder Dave Winfield. Basically, George Steinbrenner was so crooked, he'd be a cabinet member today if he didn't die. But perhaps his most puzzling was his stance on face croppings. When asked why did he ban full beards, he said, quote, I have nothing against long hair per se, but I'm trying to instill a certain sense of order and discipline in the ball club. And when anyone says per se, they really mean I kind of am doing what I'm saying I'm not doing per se. And as for discipline, I don't know for sure how your human bodies might actually work, but I'm pretty sure you don't use beards for any of the moves it takes to play a ball game. I'm pretty sure they all had them back when it was Knickerbocker rules. Listen to that name! If that doesn't conjure the image of tight-panted, thick-maned, square-jawed, and chops so mutton they should be served with mint jelly, then I don't know what you mean when you say baseball. The Yankees even changed their policy in 1995 when Jake McDowell and his beefy goatee took to the mound. Don Mattingly followed in his face steps, but then beards were banned again. And you can find the remnants of this bit of bearded history in that episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Byrne coaches the baseball team. I'm just saying, that's another reason not to subscribe to the Washington Post for news. Just watch The Simpsons. Fuck you, Bezos. Speaking of rich assholes fucking it up for everyone, George Steinbrenner wasn't the only one thinking your facial crop edge had anything to do with success. That shit goes back to Alexander the Great, when he found himself outnumbered in a battle and he had the Iron Age balls and the fucking gall to ask his Macedonian main soldiers to shave, because they might get their, quote, beards yanked, and he won the battle. Quote, fueling a trend in beardlessness among Greek and Roman men that endured for 400 years, according to Christopher Oldstone Moore in his 2015 book, Of Beards and Men, The Revealing History of Facial Hair. In the 1700s, it became fashionable to shave because germ theory was around, and once humanity figured out that you were all basically walking rest-style bathrooms, you figured shaving the face was more hygienic, hence the term clean-shaven. But honestly, the beard is the least of your problems. I've seen y'all come out of the bathroom faster than humanly possible to wash your hands. You're not the Flash! Get that shit off your fingers before you get after those chips, goddammit! But thankfully, Hal Steinbrenner figured maybe it's not what you got on your face makes the Yankees suck so much. So finally, after 50 years, he benched the ban, and the Yankees can sport some groomage like the humans they pretend they're not. And all the while, I'm here unable to even benefit because nature is an asshole. You hear me, God? What kind of deity would make me jealous of the fucking Yankees? The Yankees! The Bubba Gump Shrimp Company of baseball. But it's not just them, it's you humans. I'm jealous of you. I don't ask for much, a high five, a shot, and a few quarters to play some pinball. Is it so wrong that I want a beard too? There's not so much in your human world I don't have access to. Streets, touch screens, bread, it's all available to me. But the idea of growing a fucking Boss Imperial is beyond my special capabilities. Although turkeys can grow what looks like a gnarly-ass goat patch, like they moonlight as a bassist in a sludge metal foursome that plays primarily microbreweries and horror-themed burger balls. But it's only dark feathers in a bundle like something you find at Michael's in the bargain bin. I said it. And sure, there's plenty of my breed and variety to be envious of. Some of us can fly without miles. We got knives for faces. And we all got cloacas, which is an awesome, fully functional, full-service launch canal for our dukes and pizzles at the same time. We go number 3. We're mad efficient. Be jealous, ye of many tubes. I come from dinosaurs. But waste management aside, I can't grow a fucking epic Zappa stash to make my love of garage rock obvious to those that cross my vinyl. I have to prove it. I can't cultivate a bitchin' Ned Kelly like some of y'all. How am I supposed to look like I already know how to navigate a proper dose of shrooms without somebody giving me the obligatory? Well, the way I do it is I take half and then I see how I'm feeling. Oh yeah, Travis? Is that how drugs work? I'm a talking fucking bird. Clearly you already took too much. Imagine humans not having the necessary DNAables to sprout and flourish an absolutely scrumptious Bandholz beard and then attempt to indulge in a whiskey flight unguarded in public. What would the papers say? And you can forget about me ever casually walking a Ren fair with a full Garibaldi because it's just bald on me forever. Best I can do is eye pencil a Van Dyke to keep the beer wenches interested. Be grateful for the ability to even consider a face moss human. Oh, woe is me! Oh, to shave! I could feel the wind beneath my wings, but I never felt the summer wind come blowing in, touch my hair, and walk with me. Pity for I have never known the sensation of a minty cooling woof of a winter's night brisk after a shave. I gag for the time I may know what it is to hear a friend or fellow ask if I got a trim. I pray for the day I find reminders of soup on my face. Fuck, I'll take a chin strap. I don't care if it makes me look like I'm gonna recommend a good red wine and a communist bookstore at the same time. I wanna know what it means to be judged based not on what's in my heart, but what's in my soul patch. Fuck your peanuts and cracker jacks. Take me out to the beard game. But unlike Alexander the Great and George fucking Steinbrenner, I know it's just a Slimer on an ecto cooler. It may not actually make me stronger, but it sure makes me look like I am, and that is the power of branding, humans. I love you. Good night.
Nailed it.